Okay, this should be review. Proportions. When you see an equal sign between two fractions, that's implying that they are proportionate or they are the same. They can be reduced to the same thing. There's several different ways you could solve a simple one like this, but I want to review cross multiplying because that's what we're going to use for a more difficult one in just a second. Cross multiplying just means cross multiply, so the x gets multiplied with 24, which is 24x. The 8 gets multiplied with 12, which is 96. And those are equal to each other. And then you solve it. So 96 divided by 24. X equals 4 is our answer. 4 over 8 equals 12 over 24. They both reduce to 1/2. Now let's look at a little bit more difficult one, because obviously we've got expressions instead of just an x. You're going to follow the same rules. So you're going to cross multiply. When you cross multiply, you have to use that dreaded distributive property. So you have to think of these expressions with parentheses around them. So we're going to do 28 times x minus 1 equals 22 times x plus 2. So there's exactly what we need to do, and we're going to distribute. I'm going to get the x's to the same side. Numbers. And divide. Since we got a nice round whole number, let's go ahead and check our answer. If I take 12 and I plug it in for both of the x's, this side I get 11 over 22, 12 minus 1. This side I get 12 plus 2 is 14 over 28. Again, those both just happen to reduce to 1/2. They're not always going to be 1/2, but the two examples I just did were. So on the back of the break-even problem, you have some proportions to try. Have fun. Actually, no. I'm not going to go yet. I want to point one thing out. If I happen to have a negative in front of a fraction, does the negative go with the 3, the 5, or both? Well, it equals that. That. Those three things are all the same thing. If I would have put the negative to both numbers, two negatives actually makes it a positive fraction, so that would not be correct. If you're doing a proportion and you see a negative in front of a fraction, and I'm not going to work this out, but that negative on the left-hand side of the equation can either go with the top or with the bottom. Now, if you decide to put it with the top, again, you have to think of this as in parentheses. If you want to put it with the top, you have to distribute a -1. It would actually become that. You could choose a simpler way and just put it with the 20 on the bottom, and that way you don't have to worry about it. Of course, you will have to distribute a negative 20 with x minus 3. And keep in mind, negative 20 times negative 3 is positive 60. So beware of any negatives in front of fractions. Decide where you want to put it, but make sure you're distributing a negative. Now I will finally let you work.